percent over his sole opponent, Mohamed Faras Mata, who secured just 2.2% of the votes. He had announced he would step down this year, but a constitutional amendment in November removed the upper age limit of 75 for presidential candidates. Gule has faced little opposition since succeeding the country's first president, Hassan Guled Abtidon, in 1999. And now Pope Leo XIV will become the first pope to visit Algeria, taking with him a message of dialogue with Islam on a trip that also represents a personal pilgrimage for the American pontiff. Algeria is the first stop on an 11-day tour of 4 African nations, including Cameroon, Angola, and Equatorial Guinea, from April the 13th to the 23rd. No other pontiff has visited Algeria, where Islam is the state religion, and the 70-year-old's arrival is being eagerly awaited by the Catholic minority there. The visit also holds a strong personal dimension for Pope Leo, as modern-day Algeria was home to Saint Augustine, who is a great Christian theologian whose spiritual legacy permeates his pontificate. Elsewhere, Libya's House of Representatives and the High Council of State have approved the country's first unified state budget in more than 13 years. In a statement by the central bank today, the approval of the budget by the 2 rival legislative chambers could help strengthen financial stability in the country. The move also marks an important move towards ending years of financial division between 2 hardline factions. Libya, which is a significant oil producer, is divided between administrations in the west and the east that have not had a unified budget in more than a decade. You are listening to Globe File on Adami Mogo 93.1 FM Lagos. After the break, we will bring you updates on US-Iran hold high stakes peace talks in Islamabad to end 6-week war.
You can listen to Adami Mogo 93.1 FM from any part of the world. Download the Adami Mogo 931 FM app from Google Play Store and Radio Garden, and follow us on Adami Mogo 93.1 FM on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you have eyewitness stories, clips exclusive to share, contact the Adami Mogo FM newsroom via mail at newsroom@adamimogofm.com, or you can dial 070-634-03583. You can dial 090-319-69629. Adami Mogo 93.1 FM Lagos, voice of the light.
Thank you for keeping it locked on to Globefile on Adami Mogo 93.1 FM. Now, senior US and Iranian leaders are in the Pakistani capital, Islamabad, for negotiations to end their 6-week-old war. Earlier, President Trump wished the U.S. delegation led by Vice President J.D. Vance good luck, insisting that his administration is well positioned to open the Strait of Hormuz with or without Iranian cooperation. Meanwhile, Iran's state broadcaster said the Iranian delegation would meet the Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif around noon to determine the timing and manner of possible negotiations. If the two sides hold face-to-face negotiations as expected, they would be the first direct talks since 2015, when they reached a deal on Iran's nuclear program. And still in the Middle East, Israel says it will not discuss a ceasefire with Hezbollah when it meets Lebanese officials for talks in Washington next week as Israeli attacks on Lebanon go on. Israeli and Lebanese ambassadors held late-night discussions on Friday to finalize arrangements for the meeting due at the State Department on Tuesday. Israel's ambassador Yechiel later said the talks would mark the start of formal negotiations with the Lebanese government, despite the absence of diplomatic relations between two countries. In the meantime, President Donald Trump said he had asked Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to scale back the ongoing bombardment, warning that continued strikes could undermine the fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran. And now away from the Middle East, the Artemis 2 capsule and its four-member crew safely splashed down in the Pacific Ocean, capping the first voyage by humans to the vicinity of the moon in over half a century. NASA's gumdrop-shaped Orion capsule parachuted gently into calm seas off the southern California coast this morning, concluding the mission after nearly 10 days in space.
That is on this thing is trained. It's moving so fast.
Yep. A human is not controlling that. That's automated.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't imagine a human being the
Okay, so we just got one
There they go.
and two shoots just came out. A historic 10-day or so journey up to the moon, the dark side of the moon, and back.
Integrity about to
For
complete
these
a journey.
four trailblazing astronauts.
1,481 miles.
VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time.
Just as predicted.
Yeah, the voyage following the uncrewed Artemis 1 test flight around the moon by the Orion spacecraft in 2022 is a test ahead of the planned attempt later this decade to land astronauts on the lunar surface for the first time since Apollo 17 in late 1972. NASA is seeking to achieve a crewed moon landing ahead of China, which is aiming to put its own crews there around 2030. And now, the rapper Offset has been released from the hospital after being shot on Monday night following a fight at the Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood, just north of Miami. On Tuesday, a spokesperson for Offset confirmed that the rapper was in stable condition, but his exact condition was unknown. Earlier this week, officers detained rapper Leo TJ Bon Tion Jaden Merritt in connection with the altercation that occurred before the shooting.
Get out, shoot, crazy. They're saying you were disorderly. Outside the casino, there's a fight near the valet.
Offside. He would never play with me like that in his life.
Does somebody owe you money?
Ask Offside.
He owe you money?
Ask Offside.
Do you have issues with Offset?
Hell no. What happened?
He's in the hospital right now, but he's okay.
The last thing I seen was Offset looking at me like this. Yo, that nigga shot me. That shot me. La la la. The rat, the cat, weirdos. Y'all in a good if you want to walk into my car, like.
What started the fight?
I don't know. You know.
Rapper Leo TJ responding to questions from reporters there. He was charged with disorderly conduct and operating a vehicle without a valid license. And that's it in Global this afternoon. But before we go, here's a recap of the biggest stories. We told you that the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olugbeminiyi, directed the Nigerian Immigration Service to immediately withdraw and deactivate passports of Nigerians who have renounced their citizenship but still carry the documents. We also told you that President Ismail Omar Guelleh has claimed a landslide victory in an election to secure the sixth straight term as Djibouti's leader. Finally, we brought it to you that U.S. and Iranian leaders are in the Pakistani capital of Islamabad for negotiations to end their 6 weeks-old war. Globe File was produced by Ayo Adike. I am Sam Olugbeminiyi. Join us at 6 o'clock for stories across the nation and the globe. I am Sam Olugbeminiyi once again. Good afternoon.